What is going on, guys? I'm here to talk about the fantasy season for 2021 breakout candidates. So, players that will possibly break out in your league that you didn't really see beforehand. Players that will probably pop off. I would just recommend players that I think will have an extraordinary season that they didn't have the season before. Maybe they did a little bit and they just didn't follow through by playing that many more games. But I've got a few names here to list off for breakout candidates for 2021 NHL season. So my first candidate here is Anthony Mantha. That guy is a fucking tank. He had 16 goals in 43 games this season, something like that. 22 assists, 38 points in 43 games. That guy is a beast. I would definitely take him early. If you're in a category league, he's even better, which is surprising. I'm in a points league. I set up a points league this year. But if you're in a category league, I really recommend taking this winger in top maybe ninth round. I don't know how active players in your league are, or teams in your league are, managers are, whatever you call them. But if they have him on their boards, I would take him 8th, ninth round. But if they don't, you can take him in the 10th round and get a very good value on him. He's going to be one of the leaguers in he's going to be the league leaders in some of the best categories. Like, he's going to have a lot of assists this year. He's going to have a lot of goals this year. He's going to have a lot of his plus minus is going to be crap. But his penalty minutes are going to be up there. His hits are going to be up there. His block shots are still going to be good. He's good in every single category besides plus minus this season. I think he's going to get probably 65 points plus. He really tried to break out this year, but he only played 43 games, and Detroit is becoming more of an offensive team than it was in the prior seasons. It hasn't really gotten there. Haven't had too much fantasy value the past few years, but I would recommend taking a flyer on Anthony Mantha in the 10th round. He's a really good player. I have him on my draft boards. I think I have him as a top 15 winger this season. It's a little high, but these are just projections. Another player I want to talk about next is Kevin Fiala. That guy had an extraordinary season. He got traded from Nashville to Minnesota, and he had, I believe it was 14 goals and 12 assists for 26 points. It's either 26 points or 27 points, but I know he had 14 goals in his last 18 games of the season. That is incredible, because in the past, in the games before that, he was averaging what he was averaging at Nashville. But this season, he just kind of broke out. He's still a young kid. I would really take a flyer on him too if you're in maybe a late round, maybe in the late 12th or 13th round. I think he's a good winger to pick. But he is a player that could break out at any second. That guy is a beast. He was breaking out at the end of last season. I don't know how high up people are on him. He's kind of a secret. I guess people didn't really take note on him. I didn't see him on any mock drafts very high. But I think he could break out easily. He's a high risk, high reward kind of guy, because if he performs like he did kind of towards the beginning of the season, a little bit better than that, even just slightly, he'll probably be like an average 15th round pick. So I don't know if you'd get much value for him. But he's a high risk, high reward player, because if he really breaks out, he could be a top 20 winger this season. Another candidate I would say is Alexis Lafreniere. He's obviously a rookie, but he showed some talent at the World Juniors, right? I don't really know what else to say, because he's a rookie and he just got drafted, and the last time you trusted a rookie probably was Jack Hughes last season, and he did not do all that great. But he was also on New Jersey Devils. You're going to have Alexis Lafreniere, who's also maybe a little bit better at his certain age, and he's also older than Jack Hughes was at this time. this point in time, especially with all the time that he's had since COVID started. So he's growing, he's lifting probably, he's getting better every day. But yeah, I would take him probably in the top, probably in the top 100 picks, probably towards 100. I think the mock drafts have him pretty accurately pointed out, but I would take him a little bit before or a little bit after some of these higher up wingers. But he's also going to be playing with like players like Artemi Panarin. Capo Caco is going to be better this season. He might be breaking out too. I don't know if I would trust him though. Then you have Mika Zibanejad. Wait, did I say Zibanejad? Zibanejad and Panarin. Those two. Well, anyways, those two will definitely up his point totals. I think Lafreniere will probably get my guesstimate. This is just a complete guess because he's a renowned prospect as being one of the better prospects in recent years. I would say 30 goals, 30 assists is what you should probably expect from him, especially like on an offensive team. If he was drafted to like New Jersey, like Jack Hughes would, I would probably expect a lot less from him. I would probably expect around 47 points, 46 points. But 60 points isn't too much to ask for, and I don't know if I would go too much more than that. But Connor McDavid, he's not a Connor McDavid, but Connor McDavid in his draft year got a point per game almost, and then Austin Matthews, when he got drafted, he had 40 goals season. In Patrick Laine had a 40 goal season. So yeah, I don't know if I would really trust Lafreniere, but he could still get some pretty high goal totals and assist totals. It's not asking for him too much to get 60 points. I think, especially him being an older player and the reputation he's had on an offensive dynamo of a team. And then the last breakout candidate I want to talk about real quick. I know I've been, kind of spacing out at the same time as spitting these names out real quick. Kyler Yamamoto. So that kid had 11 goals in 27 games, I believe. He's on pace for a high goal total. I don't know what goal total that would be. Probably something like 28 or something like that. I don't know. Random guess. But anyways, his shot on goal total wasn't very high when he played, but his shooting percentage was 25%, which is insanely high. It'll definitely go lower than that. So I don't think he would have been on pace. I don't think if he played if he played an 82 game season last season, he would have gotten a 25% shooting percentage or at least 28 goals. I don't think he would have done that. I think he would have had maybe closer to like 24 or 25 goals, something like that. But it has since, I know it's a little bit different, but since he's got McDavid on his team, this is just something completely different. It's different than any other teams because Connor McDavid, any player that plays with Connor McDavid, his shooting percentage rises. So Leon Draisaitl, I believe it was 3 years ago or something like that, he had a shooting percentage of like average 12% for the past few years. He had a 73-point season. He had a high point totals. But once he started playing more with McDavid, he had 50 goals that year, I believe. And this last year, he had 43 goals. So the past 2 years, in 2018 to 2019, he had 50 goals, I believe. 2019 to 2020, he had 43 goals, but I was on pace for like 51 goals or something like that. I don't remember. But the thing is when he was playing with McDavid, his shooting percentage skyrocketed, up 7%. Or was it? I think he had 21, maybe it was 21% to 21%. But anyways, he had, he's been around the 20% mark for shooting percentage the past 2 seasons. That's kind of a large sample size. So it might be just playing with Connor McDavid raises your goal totals or your shooting percentage totals. So I'm thinking that Kyler Yamamoto will probably have a shooting percentage of around 15%, maybe 16%. If I'd just say a little bit lower than Leon Draisaitl. This is just a random guess, but if you're playing with players like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, who already have high shooting percentage totals, or at least Leon Draisaitl does, but I would assume that he's going to have a high shooting percentage for what he shoots next year. But I don't know if he'll shoot that many shots, which is what's worrisome about him. But I would say he's a good 13th, 14th round pick. Kyler Yamamoto, if you want to take a flyer on him. Real tough, though. Real tough decisions you have around that area because, you might want to take a flyer on a goalie, But in my mock draft, I don't have him ranked because I can't really project his actual point totals. Some of these players that they're really tough to rank because they've just either exploded or they're rookies or they're new or they just haven't had that many games played. But these are like the young guy or like the guys that I think will break out this season that people really aren't keeping an eye out for. Especially Anthony Mantha. I think he's the number one target, and Lafreniere everyone kind of knows about, but I think Mantha is the most underestimated forward out of that group, and I think he's the best one. I think he'll have the best totals. And then Fiala, of course, too. He could be a monster. He just exploded last year. So this is just my guesstimates, and have a good day. If you enjoyed the video, put a like out there. Well, if anyone watches this video, just thanks for watching.